Hey guys, my name is Jason. Welcome to my channel. Today's question that I'm trying to answer is, what makes a financial analyst a financial analyst? Um, and I say this coming from a person who has studied um, finance and economics in college and also has done internships in uh, finance related fields as a financial analyst, and also currently working as a financial analyst at a company. Um, so it seems like I would have a lot of experience as to what makes a financial analyst a financial analyst. But at the same time, it's not very clear. Um, and so when I would have conversations with, friends or family, conversation usually ends up talking about work. And they say, okay, what do you do? And my general response is, I'm a financial analyst at so and so company, right? Um, and they say, and it's like, okay, cool, but like, what do you do? And, you know, this question has always thrown me off because it's not very clear what a financial analyst does. Um, I mean, you can explain what you're doing on day-to-day basis, like, okay, you're checking emails in the morning and then you're maybe going to meetings, or um, you're working on different projects, you're using Excel, maybe other macros and other VBA scripts that you use. But putting that in the definition of what is a financial analyst, I still don't have a very good explanation. Um, Even with my multiple months of internships at finance related companies as a financial analyst, each thing that I'm doing is 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 it's different. It's the role that you're doing is specific to the company. It's the needs and the requirements of what is expected of what you do is different. It's determined by what the needs are of the company you're working at and what are the expectations and what are you doing. So that still leads me with this question. As a financial analyst, what do you do? And that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out today. So as a financial analyst, what do you do? Well, you analyze financial products, right? That makes sense. But even then, that definition is not very clear. Okay, you analyze financial products. All right, what's up with that, right? So it's not, it doesn't really give you a good picture of what's being done or what you're doing as your job. So we need a better definition. And I'm trying to think of other occupations that makes sense to me as to what they do, and then try to use that to explain something that's more abstract. So for example, if you're a home builder, what do you do? Well, I build homes. Okay, like, yeah, that makes sense. You're in charge of building the home. Like, yeah, totally, that makes sense. But if you say, I'm a financial analyst, what do you do? I analyze finances. How is that useful? How is that helpful? How does that benefit whatever company you're working at? And it's like, what, you just, you just stare at it, you just look at the finances and like that's it. Like, what is that? Your end product for the home builder is, you have a finished product, you have the home, but your end product as a financial analyst, what is that? I guess you could say that's maybe like the presentation. Maybe you're putting together a PowerPoint of, a speech or something, like maybe that's your end product. But even then, is that, wouldn't you just be like a PowerPoint creator versus like a financial analyst? Like, what is that? So, gotta dig a little deeper. Maybe the definition of a financial analyst is you are simply working, doing research, understanding, processing, whatever words you want to use, you're working with financial products. Maybe that's the best definition. It would make sense, right? Well, in the finance industry, there are a lot of financial products that are offered in the world. So, for example, if you buy a house, there's usually some sort of cash payment or a mortgage that's involved. And in that case, your company, let's say it's the mortgage originator, then it would make sense that your company is creating mortgages, right? Like that would be the end product. But as a financial analyst, you could say, well, I work with mortgage origination companies. Maybe that's a better way to describe it. Because at least your end goal, your end product is you're providing loans, you're providing mortgages to individuals, to families, right? So maybe we have to go a bit deeper. It's not enough to say you are simply a financial analyst, because that term is so broad. It almost has no meaning. It's used so loosely that it doesn't mean anything, because like, what are you analyzing? Like, if you're analyzing stocks, well, isn't like a lot of people doing that? What makes your analysis better than anyone else's? And also, there's a bunch of information already out there, and a lot of the information doesn't really change that often, such as like portfolio allocation. Like, all we ever hear is diversify, and it's like, okay, well, you've researched stocks and you're telling me that I should diversify. Okay, well, what else is there, right? So maybe it's like you have to go a little bit deeper. It's not enough to say I'm a financial analyst and then you call it a day. You would have to define what type of product you are analyzing. I think that's the very next step. If you are a financial analyst, what you're doing is, one, you're working with a specific type of financial product. Two, the reason it's important, the reason your job is important, is because those types of products needs to be serviced in some way. And that can be like a huge range of things. Like, if you're mortgage servicer, you're in charge of collecting, money from. You're in charge of collecting the mortgage payments from your borrowers, right? Those are the monthly mortgage payments. Like, you're in charge of collecting those. So that makes sense to me. If you are the servicer, you're in charge of making sure that you're collecting these payments, right? That makes sense. That sounds meaningful, right? If you're doing research on different asset classes, that also makes sense too, because you're using those financial products and you're trying to gain a better understanding of those products, so you can better analyze your decisions. I mean, again, that's such a broad term. Like, it's a very broad understanding, but it makes sense because if you find a good company, if you're researching stocks, then you know what is considered good, and then you can tell people that you recommend this. But then again, there's like a whole bunch of people who do this, so is the information even that good? Also, there's like index investing or robo investing, and it seems like what's considered good isn't, like, the competitive advantage of what's good isn't that clear anymore. It's not that useful. But anyways, I think I'll leave it at that. A financial analyst is someone who, one, works with a certain type of financial product. Two, is doing something along the lines of managing it. Like, you're managing whatever financial product your field or your company is doing. I think that's it. I can go more deeper into this, but maybe that's a pretty good starting place. One, you're working as a financial analyst, you're working on some financial product. That makes sense. Two, whatever product you are working on, you're doing some sort of managing of said products, whether you're managing the payments, you're keeping track of who pays, you're doing research on it, other types of data information that you collect or you have to keep track of for tax reasons, or all this other stuff. That makes sense to me, and I think I'll just leave it at that for now. So if you agree, let me know. If you have more information or you'd like to add to my thought process, leave a comment. I think that's it. All right, well, see you guys later. Thanks.